This is Prep Period, an all-sports podcast by the Ventura County Star and the people at VCS Press.
Hello and welcome to episode 34 of Prep Period, the Ventura County Stars All Preps, All Sports podcast. My name is Dominic Massimino. He is Joe Curley. We are sports reporters here at the Ventura County Star. Coming to you live. It's been a couple weeks, hasn't it, for the live show, Joe? Coming to you live on a Wednesday.
I just love the fact that you did the liftoff checklist and had us all perfect, and then the moment we went live, I bent over to pick up the charger to plug into my phone. So
you can only control so many things, man. Can only control so many things, and one of them clearly is not my co-host, Joe Curley. the wild card. Joe, how's your week been? What have you been up to?
It's been good. We had a great moment we're going to talk about earlier today that we'll talk about in the pod in a little bit, and we're just starting CIF playoffs in some sports and getting close to CIF playoffs in other sports. So It is interesting how they're layered, and which makes gives us 6 weeks of playoffs essentially. So
It's
looking forward to it.
It's gonna be
the
super
weather
fun.
The rains have
dissipated. That's true.
It's been beautiful.
It's been
the June well, I don't even want to mention it because it's becoming, but the June gloom has held off so far. Knock on wood.
I bought a hammock recently. This is my update. Bought a hammock, hanging it off of my orange tree in my backyard. I'm beginning to, 9 years into my California stint. I'm really feeling the Southern California vibe beginning to take over. The beach is calling to me.
The hammock,
the relaxation, the good vibes. So,
the orange tree in my backyard was a. We just got a whole bunch of tangerines from a neighbor.
I owe you. It's long backdated. I owe you a bag of oranges because we don't know what to do. I shouldn't be putting that out there.
We'll take it.
People are going to start showing
up. I love
up
the citrus. My dream. One of the things that we talk about doing is I got to put. You plant avocado trees in pairs, I guess. And
I never knew that.
Because I think it's, I don't want to say, I don't want to be wrong.
They get lonely.
No, I'm sure they do. But I think that it has to be, in order to pollinate, I think it's male and female. I don't know. No, people are going to.
We're going to get an arborist in the
I think you have
to chat.
We need to figure this out.
What are you doing?
But I think you have to plant them in twos. And so I would love to have avocados in the backyard just for the nourishment.
That would be awesome. So our new rule to start the podcast, I've already violated before we start riffing about our orange trees and various citrus, is to talk about everything we're going to talk about in the show today, so you all know what you're going to get. So here's 5 big storylines that we're going to chat about today. First is St. Bonaventure softball. Oh, sorry, Joe, I messed it up. You're supposed to go first.
I'm supposed to do that. All right, St. Bonaventure softball clinching the Tri-Valley League title with a walk-off grand slam from who else but Audrina Tinoco in the bottom of the 8th inning. That was the power hitter that pushed the Seraphs to a CIF title last year. Very talented up and down lineup, but she's the big swinger. So congratulations to Audrina and the Seraphs for yet another TVL title.
The big story out of the Ventura County Championships last week, which I attended, was we had 2 different freshmen winning 2 Ventura County titles on their own. That's Camilla Peltonen of Moore Park in the sprints, the 100 and the 200, and Kathleen Lamb, who you'll hear about a little bit later, freshman distance runner from Oak Park. So big day for the newcomers to the county.
Royal Girls Lacrosse remain undefeated. They're now 17-0 through the first round of the CIF playoffs. They beat Santa Monica 12-8 on Tuesday in the first round. They are going on the road on Thursday in the second round. Simi also won on Tuesday, which means there's 3 girls lacrosse teams playing on Thursday in the second round of the playoffs. I believe the quarterfinals. Those who win on Thursday, quarterfinals on Saturday.
A little bit of carnage in the first night of the boys volleyball playoffs for local teams. Just 2 of the 7 teams, which is 2 of the 13 total teams from Ventura County who played on that first night last night in the boys volleyball playoffs. Only 2 survived, move on to the second round. That's Royal and Moorpark. Moorpark gets a 5-set victory. Royal wins, I believe, in 4. 6 more teams will play tonight. That's Camarillo, Ventura, Westlake, Foothill Tech, Newbury Park, and Oak Park. I will be at one of those games. It's a mystery which one.
And then news that's happened on Wednesday morning, we had the annual Ventura County Football Coaches Association signing day luncheon, which now takes place in April rather than February, so they can celebrate everybody, not just the Division I signees. And a very interesting class this year. A lot of big time talent. We had an incredible, record-setting football season in the fall, obviously, with the 3 state champion bowl finalists for the first time in county history. But the big news from Wednesday was a Michigan freshman by the name of Brady Smigel showed up to the signing day luncheon, which was a huge surprise. And it led to a very cool moment, which I'm writing about, which we will talk about later in the pod.
There's your storylines, people. That's what we're going to talk about today. So stay tuned if you want to hear about all that, and I'm sure lots more that will come to us over the course of the next 40 minutes. Let's real quick talk about the Ventura Orthopedic Athletes of the Week. As promised, here's that name again. Kathleen Lamb is the girls' athlete of the week. She's a freshman from Oak Park, that distance runner. She captured 2 titles in her first time competing at the Ventura County Championships for track and field Saturday at Moorpark. She won the 1,600-meter race in 4 minutes, 58.94 seconds. Getting under that 5-minute mark is very difficult. And then comes back and wins the 800 in a time of 2:19.68. She was named the Coastal Canyon League Runner of the Year after winning the league's cross-country individual title last fall. She beats out another talented freshman in Westlake, Frosh, Anais Cruz in that mile race, just a sprint to the finish. So that was a fun race.
And then on the guy side, Douglas King, the track athlete from Pacifica, senior, broke his own program record with a leap of 46 4 3/4 inches to win the boys triple jump title at the Ventura County Track and Field Championship Saturday at Moorpark High. The mark is number 16 in California this year. Nice work, Doug.
Super cool talking to Douglas about that mark. He's kind of been, I don't want to say an unsung hero, but he's gone very much under the radar the last couple of years just in the county. The triple jump is sort of an unforgiving event, and an event that doesn't get a lot of shine compared to the long jump and the high jump. But he's kind of been dominating on the county level for a little while now. And that mark, like you said, Joe, is number 16 in California this year. Definitely a big breakout for him. Kind of just going to those Ventura County Championships, talking a little bit more, about those big marks and big events. Like I said, the big storyline from this year's county meet was, it was the new generation kind of making their mark, making their impact felt. So you have Camilla Peltonen, who we've confirmed has 2 L's in her first name. We've gone back and forth with many
Nice.
people about this.
Okay.
Yes, wins both the 100 meters and the 200 meters, sweeps the girls' sprint crown by a wide margin. Wins, her first 2 county titles in her first county championships. And then Oak Park's Kathleen Lamb, 2 very different events, the 1,600 and the 800, gets her pair of county titles. So both on the girls' side, really, really impressive stuff. Talk to both of them, after those events, and you ask a kid who's in their first county championships, like, how cool it is to win as a freshman, and they kind of just said, well, we're just out here having fun. We're new to this. We don't know what it's supposed to feel like.
Didn't know this thing existed an hour ago.
Exactly. Right? We don't know how it's supposed to feel. We don't know kind of the meaning of it all, the background, how hard people fight for these county titles. And so, really cool to see kind of that fresh attitude and outlook on, championship competition. They weren't the only, freshmen to have big performances. Like we mentioned earlier, Anais Cruz, one of the 2 super talented twins from Westlake distance runners, Anais and Sabina. Anais places second behind Lamb in that girls' 1,600-meter race. exciting sprint to the finish line, and Lamb had the foot speed. And then another frosh we've been talking about is Pacifica's Bryshon McGee, who had a showdown with the county, with the county's best in Moorpark's Dean Guzman, who we had on the show last week, who cleared 7 feet to win at Mount Sac. Bryshon finishes second. He clears 6 feet 7 inches. I made sure to write that all the way out so I don't have to say just the numbers. And Dean Guzman wins with a jump of 6'9". He took an attempt at that what would have been a county meet record at 7'1" after missing his first two attempts at 6'11", and just barely didn't clear it. Go check out my Twitter for a video of that jump, but really impressive in all those events. And then the last big storyline was out of Calabasas. We didn't see the girl sprinters make an appearance, but Kingston Salifi, did enough on the track to make up for missing out on those ladies. He runs a wind legal 21.22 seconds to win the county title in the 200. It also was a new meet record for the Ventura County Championships. He beat out Moorpark's Jalen Aguilar-Carnes in 21.40 seconds, also an incredible time. That time for Salifi is the number 26 time in the state this year in the 200. He also pushed newcomer Westlake's DeMar DeZern in the 100 meters, losing by 0.02 of a second in the 100 meters, 10:44 to 10:44. It went down to, I think, 10:44.36 versus 0.38.
Oh, wow.
Those are the folks in the timing tent were really squinting, looking at to see who broke the plane first. Those are the number 2 and number 3 times in the county this season, behind county record holder Jaden Griffin of Newbury Park, who unfortunately scratched from the 100 and the 200 after running the second leg of the 4x100 meter relay. Just feeling a little tight, he told me, literally jogging to the starting line. He was like, "Hey, just so you know, might not see me in the 100 and the 200." Greatly appreciated from a reporter to an athlete. That was awesome. But yeah, really overall, just a super exciting Ventura County Championships. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. We saw the upset. Moorpark took down Newbury Park in that boys 4x100 meter relay on their home track in a really fast time. I think it was 41.35 was the time. So some excitement there, and we're moving on to league championships coming up shortly after the release of this podcast. Joe's going to be out there making his track debut on the season. I'm going to be out at Marmoni League Championships and Coastal Canyon League Championships Thursday, Friday, and Joe will be over at the Channel League Championships.
Fun. All right, so let's pivot right now to the bat sports. We'll start with softball. Just do a quick...
Every time I hear you say that, I think you're saying bad sports and not bat sports. I'm like, what do you mean? I love baseball sports. And softball.
Yeah, exactly.
The bat sports.
I'll enunciate the T. Bat sports. Softball races, because we're getting down now to a lot of the leagues are finishing up. Son is calling me. He's going to get punished for that. Softball races. So really interesting. So the Channel League, it looked like Dos Pueblos is kind of running away with the Channel League softball race, and then all of a sudden, Rio Mesa beat them 4-1.
Wow.
That was last Friday. So now they're within one game in the loss column. They do have to beat Ventura a couple times to stay in the race, but if they're able to stay within touching distance, they'll go to Dos Pueblos on May 4th, which is Monday or Tuesday, for essentially a championship game. So keep an eye on that. On the other, conversely, Oaks Christian, the number 1 team in our rankings, clinched the share of Marmoni League with 3 to play with a 7-5 win over Westlake on Tuesday. Simi leads Moorpark by a game in the Coastal Canyon. Those 2 teams will play next week as well. So if that race remains tight, we will have yet another championship game next week. Fillmore and Santa Paula are tied at 8-1 in the Citrus Coast League. Fortunately, they've already played their 2 games, so really good chance of, I think there's actually 1 to play there. Good chance that they may tie which would be not the first time that's happened in recent years. Two really good programs going at it year after year there. And then St. Bonaventure, like we mentioned, clinched the TVL with the Tinoco walk-off extra inning grand slam. Moving to baseball, we're going to get deep into the Romani League baseball race in a little bit. But before that, we talked about names earlier and spellings, and we've been calling Dunwoody, the pitcher for Royal, Dustin for years. Mm-hmm. Our editor was not pleased to find out that it's Dusty, that he goes by Dusty. And I was able to explain to him, did we do this last week on the pod?
I don't think well, did we do it last week? I can't remember.
I think we might have.
It's worth going. It's worth going through again because we want to make sure that we get this right.
Remember, I told the story that he's Dusty.
You did say this on the
officially
pod.
Dustin, yes. Just in case he needed, to have a professional first name. It's like in the case that I'm a lawyer, I'll be Dustin, but everyone calls me Dusty. He's like the only person who ever calls me Dustin is a substitute teacher. So and then he went out, and it's not, that Simi Royal rivalry is one of the best. We've got the baseball race in the Coastal Canyon League the last couple of years has been phenomenal down to the very last innings. And to be Dusty Dunwoody, to be the number one pitcher in the county, to only give up one run in his previous 45 in a third innings, and to take the ball against Simi in the rubber match of that rivalry and throw a 4-hit shutout with another 14 strikeouts and lift Royal to a 3-0 win over Simi, when the previous year he took the ball in that game, had a bunch of strikeouts, left the game with a 2-1 lead because he was up to 105 pitches, and then they lose in the last inning with him out. Yeah. I just thought it was a really cathartic moment for him, kind of big for his legacy. And now do the math on that. He pitched another 7 innings, so he's up to 1 run in 52 innings this year. So he's going to end up. I think he still pitches next week against Oak Park. That race is not done yet. Royal leads Simi by a game. Royal's got to play Oak Park twice next week. Simi's got to play, I believe, Camarillo twice next week. So it's not over, even though they did announce it after the game. The announcers at the game announced them as the league champions as they were celebrating. And I was like, that's kind of a faux pas. But, the Royal Simi rival, they did a pig pile. Like they had won the title.
Huh.
But when Royal and Simi play, and you play for the championship of each other. In some regards, a rivalry like that is more important than maybe even a league title. So I can understand them celebrating. It was such a big deal, especially when they got walked off the previous year to Simi. So, but I was like, wait a second, did I get something wrong?
Did I get this wrong? Yeah, I've had those moments.
This is not the last week of the season. So, and then Hueneme leads the Citrus Coast by a game with 2 to play. St. Bonaventure, we mentioned the softball team. The baseball team also had a big series to decide the Tri-Valley, and they beat Foothill Tech to clinch the Tri-Valley championship. And then similar situation to softball, San Marcos and Dos Pueblos lead Rio Mesa by 1 game with 1 to play. None of those teams play each other. So it's this weird situation where Rio Mesa needs Oxnard and someone else to win, and then they need to win to have to split it. But cool, Rio Mesa was in a rough position, and they needed to win to, at least they're going to be in the playoffs. And so it was a good second half of the season for the Spartans.
Shout out to Rio Mesa for kind of carrying the flag for the the local programs in the Channel League for baseball and softball.
It's been a good couple of years for Santa Barbara baseball and softball, and the Ventura teams have felt that. Ventura and Oxnard schools have felt that a little. And then our minor league baseball is one of the it's one of the strongest leagues in any sport that we have. You can compare it almost to football, compare it to some of the other some of the soccer leagues and stuff. But Westlake and Oaks Christian are tied with 2 games to play. Newbury Park is a game back, so you've got 3 of the top programs in the county within a game with 2 to play. And Westlake's playing Newbury Park. Oaks Christian actually had the lead, and they lost to Calabasas. So Calabasas, which was surprisingly in last place. So it's just that's that type of league where anybody can beat anybody. And to further go into that, we're gonna bring on Westlake baseball coach Wally Barnett um, to give us the 4-1 on the Warriors, and then also that league. What's it like to coach in that league? And then we'll also talk a little bit about a name that every Ventura County baseball fan needs to know going forward. So let's check out that interview.
And for you live listeners, you'll have to go to you'll have to go to our website or go to Spotify or go to Apple Podcasts later today, where we will have that full interview with the all-time winningest coach in Westlake baseball history, Wally Barnett.
You want to do the Deuce Stat of the Week?
Let's do it. Yeah, we were just talking about Hueneme softball a little bit. You have sophomore Roxanne Silva is the current Ventura County stolen base leader with 32, including 5 in a game, not 1 but 2 times this season. Karen Black of Buena shares the section record with 9 in a 1983 game. So that's hard to imagine. But yeah, I can't say knocking on the door 5 to 9, but has gotten to that 5 steal mark twice. That's pretty impressive for Silva this season, given the record.
I have to go in the archives and try to find the report of that and figure it out. Now, you think about that, you would have to reach first base 3 times and steal second, third, and home.
Yeah, do you
or
think
you have to reach base 5 times? It's
can't imagine
5.
It had to have been 5 times, and that would be remarkable if she did it in 3.
I don't know. How do you steal home in a softball game?
Yeah, that's crazy.
All right. And then remember, the Ventura County Star, vcstar.com, VCS Preps. Make sure you like and follow and subscribe on all our social media. Make sure you have a subscription to the app. As we get into the playoffs here, we're going to have a lot of live playoff coverage. And you only get that coverage on the app of the website.
VCS Preps. This is what you want right here on the app. You get everything. I'm not going to give you everything, but you get everything you need.
Including this podcast.
Including this podcast. And I should add, you'll get access to, you don't need access to, I can't lie. You don't need access to vote in our softball player poll, but you should get access anyway to educate yourself better on all of the players around here. Know who to vote for. We have the Stars softball player poll will run through May 5th at 7 p.m. Go vote in that. Joe has assembled a impressive cast of athletes from across the county. I was looking through, and I recognize so many names from our Athletes of the Week, so many names from, many podcasts, many segments in the past. So go vote in that. You can vote as many times as you want. I always like to pit the baseball and the softball against each other, the girls track, the boys track. So if you want to beat that baseball poll, you got to go vote. Show us your fandom for your softball teams and your players, and go vote in that.
I'll say this, the baseball poll did very well. The softball poll's gaining on it. So
they're catching up.
It's going to be close. And then let's wrap this up just by quickly mentioning again, go to the website and read my story on the 12 local lacrosse teams that were selected for the CIF playoffs. What we already said, there's 3 that are still alive. All 8, maybe somebody has a bye. 7 or 8 of them have first round games tonight on Wednesday. So by the time you watch this, those results will already take place. Hopefully it will already be on our website. That includes all of our minor league teams and the Coastal Canyon League teams. Those are the 2 local boys lacrosse league. That was Westlake won the Marmani, and Oak Park and someone else tied for the Coastal Canyon. Maybe it was Grace. And then you give us Any what was the news that you wrote with the boys volleyball?
Yeah, so on the first, it was kind of weird. We had some was pre-planned scheduling, some was gym planning problems, but we had 7 of the 13 boys volleyball teams in the Southern Section playoffs playing last night on Tuesday night. Only 2 advanced. That's Royal and Moore Park. So those 2 Coastal Canyon League programs are moving on to the second round, and then we have another big slate of games tonight. You have Camarillo, our top, our top local team, the champion of the Coastal Canyon League. They are playing tonight at home. You have Ventura, you have Westlake and Newbury Park, 2 top Marmani League teams who will be playing tonight. You have Foothill Tech, and you have Oak Park, which was one of the only, if not the only team in Coastal Canyon League play to take a match off of Camarillo. So exciting stuff. Go follow that. I will be covering one of those games live, and we'll have a roundup of all of the playoff results by tomorrow morning.
It was Oak Park and Simi that shared the Coastal Canyon League boys lacrosse title. Agura and or is it? Sorry, I was looking for. We had 2 at-large teams that made it. Anyway, so there's 8 lacrosse teams that play tonight, and we'll try to play on Friday in the second round. We'll have that coverage on the site. And then, we've been covering the Ventura County Football Coach Association signing day luncheon for decades. Really cool event. It used to be on the old school signing day in February, where everybody kind of made their decisions and actually signed a piece of paper, and it's a legally signing document, a binding document. And it's as college football has changed, college sports itself has changed. The Football Association has tried to change with it, and they moved it later in the year to April in order to kind of include everybody that was going to college. So there was about 20 seniors that were at the Palm Garden Hotel in Newbury Park on Wednesday. It's a really cool moment where you have the players there with their parents, and they're all given the opportunity to speak at the days, which is good media training for all the kids. And like we said, it was a big time season for football this year, where we just had so many great players. Some of them weren't there. Derek Garcia is already at UNLV. Tristan Phillips is already at Oregon. Devin Almonde is already at San Jose State. And
Jackson Taylor's already at Boise. Hayden Vircher.
So you didn't expect to see kind of the bigger names. But then, and Brady Smigel is already at Michigan. But there he was in the flesh at the luncheon today, and it was just really cool moment where, over the last 4 years, we've had to interview Newbury Park people a million times about one of the great players in Ventura County history. And when Joe Schmeigel who's the head coach at Newbury Park, took the mic to introduce his players, and he went through one by one, because they have 10 signees, 5 of which who are there. And at the end, he has his son there, and it was a very emotional senior year for Brady Smigel, who has a whole new. They had an incredible junior year where he wins, Mr. California, Mr. Football in the state of California, I should say, by Cal High Sports, and they win Division II, and they set all these records, and then obviously senior year, halfway through, he tears his ACL, and we don't, all of a sudden the Schmeigel era is over.
Yeah.
Which was
shocking.
It was super shocking. And and then there's all these questions about what happens to his future, and Michigan stood by him, and he's already I think it was a 6-month anniversary. I talked to Brady today, and it's a 6-month anniversary since his surgery. But it was this great moment where Joe Schmeigel's talking about his son, not his quarterback. And, he's really tried to kind of separate everything the last 4 years and treat his son like he would other players. And, obviously a football coach treats his players like his sons. And, but he's, you try to treat them all equally. And so and you're in the spotlight, when you have one of the top players in the country. And so it was a great moment where, and I'll have the video on our socials later and on the site, but Joe Schmeichel essentially let his guard down and talked emotionally about his son, and then handed the mic over to Brady. And, you got 20, 17, 18-year-olds on a days, it's not every speech is a TED Talk.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity for these kids to learn public speaking and get over some of those fears. And, some of them do it well and some of them do it very well, but, obviously, Brady Schmeigel's been in the spotlight for a long time. So, to see him up there, handle it really well and, share his success with his teammates and be back, he was there for the Michigan, spring game. And, he was there celebrating when Michigan won the national championship in men's basketball, and their hockey team almost won the Frozen Four. So, he's already deep into his college experience, even though he's only been there a couple, 3.5 months.
Right.
So, but it was nice to see him back and for him to have that moment, where, the ending of the Schmeichel era was, happened suddenly, and it was kind of a stopping short of his career. And, but it was great to see him in one piece and ready to, he's talking about competing for playing time this fall.
Wow.
Despite the injury, he
gosh.
was on his way out to play 18 holes.
That's
He
great.
said that his knees felt fantastic. The rest of his body is sore because he's building up the muscles that he hadn't used
Wow.
since his injury. But it's only been 6 months since he's been hurt, and he's throwing a football, and he's preparing to play football this fall. So, we'll see when he's cleared what happens, but he's, yeah. So
Pretty incredible.
anyway, it was a good capper when we didn't get to cap that career and have that normal cap, for one of the great careers in Ventura County history. It was kind of a gift, that he was there and we were able to kind of do that the right way. So, yeah, I had a very memorable Wednesday, and that I know that luncheon, used in the changing with all the rules and everything and a lot that's happened, that luncheon has had some changes. And so it was a nice kind of shot in the arm for that event as well, that here it is that, this is happening at this event too. So anyway,
a nice capper to a great career, a nice capper to a great episode of
to the pot.
Great story. Thanks for sharing that. And yeah, I'm sure you'll have something about that moment on the site soon and about that event. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for continuing volleyball, lacrosse, baseball, softball, track coverage all this week. It's going to be a very, very busy end of the week for us, and that means a very exciting, action-packed episode of Prep Period coming to you early next week. Joe, you got anything else to plug before we get out of here?
No, just again, join us. The playoffs are here. Playoffs are happening, and it's going to be a real fun May. Let's go.
Let's do it. All right, guys. Till next time.
Comes down to this for Thousand Oaks in their season. It is a gift to Martin. Martin gets the first down and more. It's a nice little screen to the left-hand side. One play and see ya later. Caldera dives into the end zone. Touchdown Oxnard. What a fitting way to end that run. He's at the 40. He's at the 20. 10, 5, touchdown.